Danny, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Can't complain at all. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. I'll be honest, Danny, it's been nice to get back in the studio once a week for a little normalcy. You see a few people around the building. It's crazy, man. These times are like nothing we ever thought about, right?
Exactly. It's kind of like a movie that you'd never think would ever happen. But I think people are starting to get back to somewhat normalcy, be able to get access to certain things here and there, little by little. Lucky for me, lucky for a couple of our guys, to be able to find some private gyms or something, nearby where we can get access to it, once or twice a week, just to get some normalcy. So, yeah, it's looking like it's getting better, but we're hoping that it gets a lot better sooner so that we can get back on the court.
Danny, what's quarantine life been for you? Who are you around? What's your daily routine?
My dogs and my girlfriend.
Yeah. Small pack.
That's it. Constant emails, phone calls, podcast interviews, figuring out ways to work out, running with them during the day, at nighttime, lifting. And it said, luckily, I found a private gym that I can get into a couple times a week with a friend who had access. But for the most part, it's a small knit group. Said I have a lot of time now to keep in contact with friends and teammates and actually check in and check up on people, especially back home in New York where it's a hotbed, where it's kind of crazy. A lot of my family's good, but a lot of their friends are passing away, so I'm just trying to keep them, in my prayers and comfort them as best I can from here.
Yeah, I know KarlAnthony Towns recently lost his mother. I know the NBA world definitely reaching out to him as well. These are just such tough times, my friend.
Man, big shout out to him and his family. We're sending our prayers and love. I got a chance to actually meet his family All-Star Weekend last year in Charlotte. And such great people, man. He's such a good kid. You hope nothing tragic happens to anybody, especially great people. But sending my love and prayers to him and his family, as well as many other people that have had some people passing due to this virus, especially back home in New York, and a lot of my friends and family. So I'm wishing everyone to the best health and sending my condolences and prayers to everybody who lost someone.
Yeah, and I'm sorry from our end to you as well. Danny, I guess during the season you're pretty much, I don't want to say selfish, but when an athlete is in their season, it's about that time, and you're not worried about what everyone else is doing. But when you go through something like this, have you found it's brought a lot of people together in terms of your NBA circle?
Definitely. Every circle has started to come together, just figure out how to beat this thing, to come for each other. As you can see, even the guys who have battles, you see Joel Embiid reach out to KarlAnthony Towns. Mm-hmm. They had their little battles. Obviously, it's a great, friendly, competitive nature. But this is bigger than basketball, and we want to make sure that our own, obviously it's a fraternity in itself, the NBA, but all our circles, we want to make sure everybody's safe and well and healthy. And obviously during this time, find ways to keep each other entertained, focused, and obviously staying in shape for when we do get back on, stay positive. But it's the bigger picture, and the more important thing is to make sure everyone's family is healthy, and we're definitely checking in on each other and bring each other close.
Danny, it kind of led me to my next point that I wanted to get to: staying sharp, staying in shape. Has that been a challenge, especially on the mental side of things?
Definitely, man. Not just for me, but for many people. I've read articles and seen some guys have not been able to get access because you don't really realize that a lot of us don't have equipment in our house. We don't have gyms in our house. We don't build that because it's really unnecessary. It's not a necessity. We have a facility nearby. We have basketballs, equipment at our locker rooms. So a lot of times when things shut down and we can't get access to those facilities, it's like, man, I have 100 pairs of tights in there, but I don't have none at home. I have to find basketball shoes here, and let alone a basketball. So we're like, damn, we have to find all this equipment, and then we don't have a hoop, we don't have a court. We have to figure out ways to dribble. If you can find one, great. But a lot of guys can't get that access, so it's a lot of people struggling to figure out ways and trying to stay sharp, especially teams that they feel are contenders, and the teams or the organizations or the rosters that actually win the waiting game and actually stay in shape during this time is the team that's going to win. Doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed or 8 seed. I really strongly believe that the group that actually stays together and communicates throughout this process and actually stays in shape is the team that's going to win. Doesn't matter the seeding.
What about a thing like shooting? I mean, it's something that you probably take for granted. You've done every day for I don't know how many years, and now it's difficult to even find a way to do that.
Yes, So before I was able to find a gym, luckily I had a basketball here. I had to find a pump. I had to get a pump to put some air in it, but I was able to just, get a feel for the ball, to touch for it, and actually know what I did when I was a kid, lay on my bed and shoot, or in a chair, whatever, shoot up at the ceiling, just to get a feel for it. So just, figuring out different ways just to get a feel for the ball, staying in shape. And then, so luckily enough, I found a gym where I get some shots up. And that first day, it wasn't too bad, but it was definitely weird, awkward, and trying to get a rhythm back. It's going to take some time, and luckily, I've been getting as much as I can, and I still have a pretty good feel for the game and feel for the ball. And my shooting is not as bad as I thought it would be.
Danny, a moment ago, you brought up such a great point. I think of my own life. My 12-year-old daughter plays volleyball, and I'm one of the coaches on her team. And we don't know if this season's going to be canceled, but we're trying to keep them connected. We're doing Zoom workouts. And you said it best. You said it doesn't matter if you're an 8 seed or a 1 seed. It doesn't matter if you're 12 years old or if it's a guy like you that's been in the league and's got a couple of titles. Staying connected is not easy, but it is key. How have you guys been doing it?
Well, we have a really tight-knit group. That's what I love about our group, and makes us the most fun. Not even on the court, but off the court, we actually care about each other, family and lives, and we check in. We have a lot of fun. We send memes, we send videos, just funny stuff of talking to each other and chopping it up. So that allows us to keep that relationship and keep our bond pretty strong. And then, Bron is checking in on guys, AD's checking on guys, making sure guys, if they have access to a gym or not, if they're in town or not, they can able to come their way and get workouts in, because he's working out with his son like a madman at least 4 to 5 times a week. So he gives us that option. But a lot of guys here, and most of them have gone back home to their families, stay close. But a lot of guys here have found access to something to be able to stay in shape.
How important has a daily routine been during this time, especially when it comes to the basketball side of things in terms of staying in shape and eating right?
I don't think it's that important. Right now, I said it doesn't matter the hours that you're getting in as long as you're getting them in. My sleep is not on just normal schedule. It never is, even during the season, but it's way out of whack right now. I'm sure everybody's sleep schedule is way out of whack. But I make sure I get the hours in, getting my lifting in, or my running in, my conditioning in on the court. But at least having a routine of getting those things in. It doesn't matter the hours, but at least getting those things in, at least 3 or 4 times a week with each thing, is important. But you don't have to have a predicated hour day by day routine, as long as you're getting some work in at least 3 or 4 times throughout the week, or at least 2 or 3 times a week, so that you're not totally out of shape, depending on your body and your genes and how well you react to rest time.
Dude, did you get a Peloton bike? Did I hear that on your Instagram?
I did. Rudy Gay, I had him on my podcast, and he kind of talked me into getting one. I was thinking about getting a treadmill too, because they just shut down. I'm located not too far from the beach, but they just shut down beaches and trails, so not able to run on the beach anymore. It's not as nice. So I was thinking about getting a treadmill, but those are so expensive. I was like, I don't know. By the time it gets here, we might be back on the court. So it was like, it's a 3 to 4 week turnaround before they ship it out, and I'm just like, nah, and it's too expensive. So Peloton came in pretty quick. A little cheaper than the treadmill, actually a lot cheaper than the treadmill. And, I'm ready to get that thing up and running. Setting up a nice little gym area in my garage where I had to create one, figure out how to, buy weights and put machines together.
Danny, you were coming off a pretty fun season there in Toronto, winning your 2nd championship. For us Laker fans and those of us that cover the Lakers, these last 7 years have been pretty tough. We're obviously very spoiled. We were having a lot of fun. For you, man, was this a fun season? I mean, things were really rolling.
Definitely. Not even from a individual, personal success standpoint. I was able to have my best, season as an individual player, but just being around the guys and having fun with the group and how much success our group is having, I think guys understood the bigger picture and having so much fun. Nobody really cared the numbers that they got or what they were doing individually. We had so many different pieces bring so much to the table to where we were having fun and winning games. Whether we're playing 10, 15 minutes or 20, 25 minutes or 5 minutes, guys didn't really care. We were having so much fun. So, yeah, this is definitely one of the most fun seasons I've had since I've been in the league, because we're winning and because it wasn't a priority for guys. Nobody's fighting over time, minutes, or touches. Everybody just did their part and fell in line and did their role the best they could, to their ability, best of their ability.
Danny, I'm interested to see kind of your point of view, because I know from the fans' point of view, from the media's point of view, especially after that last weekend, you beat the Bucks, you beat the Clippers. The way you guys beat them, it had that playoff type atmosphere. I think it showed the entire NBA the Lakers legitimately have a great chance at a championship. I'm sure you guys already knew you did. You know what kind of team you have. You've been a part of championship teams, but man, it was really tough seeing that the season got suspended right at that time when you guys had just come off those big wins, right?
Yeah, man, it is tough, especially when we're playing on that level and that degree and getting toward the goal we want to be as a unit. We knew we were not exactly where we wanted to be, but we knew we were a lot closer than we were early in the season because we weren't in games and beating teams, and we go on win streaks, but we were losing to teams above 500, the top teams in the league, and we knew we were very capable of winning a championship and that we were capable of beating those teams. But you don't really get that confidence, that encouragement, or get that great feeling until you actually do get over that hump. So we were able to actually beat the Clippers and feel good about it, and beat Milwaukee and feel good about it. Then we knew, we're getting closer to the point where we want to be the last team standing. Obviously, the last game we played wasn't the greatest one. We knew we still had work to do. That was kind of a wake-up call that we needed, losing to Brooklyn. So I think that was going to be a good wake-up call for us to continue to finish out the season because we had Houston coming up and a couple other tough teams. But unfortunately, the season was cut short after that. So our last game wasn't the best game for us to be cut short on. But the games previous to that definitely let us know that we were, a team capable of doing something special this year.
Danny, nobody cared about that Nets game. All right, it was the Bucks and Clippers game. But seriously,
we did very much.
And
I know. Was very much,
you did.
All those guys were harping on it. We can't lose this game, because then it means nothing. If those 2 wins mean nothing, we lose this game. But obviously, it meant much more to the fans than it did us. But the wins meant more to the fans than it did us. We of course enjoyed the wins, but those wins didn't mean as much to us if we didn't capitalize and finish off the I guess that stretch with beating Brooklyn. So that's why it set a bad taste. It was a bad taste in my mouth.
I hear you. So listen, you obviously are so connected in the NBA throughout all your years, so you know a lot of guys. Also, we love this podcast. You speak to guys there. You speak to your teammates. If you can give us a consensus, maybe your own feelings. I mean, are you holding out hope, that this season gets finished?
I think we all are, man. I think nobody wants to, leave a season the way it has been left. It's kind of, there's no real closure, especially for the teams, playoff teams that are fighting to get in the playoffs, teams that are contenders to win the championship. It would be tough pill to swallow if they just cancel the season. Mind you, there's so many, things in place, opportunity-wise for, so many business people, ventures, TV deals, and for the future for the league. It'll be tough to get things back and rolling on the right track if things go that route. But I think we have a lot of hope for the season to continue, at least the playoffs, at least. So there's enough motivation there for all sides of people, to put their best foot forward because there's too much money at risk. And at the end of the day, for us, it's too much. There's a championship at risk, and playoff, for most guys at risk. Certain guys, teams, resumes, we're competitors at the end of the day, and we want to win. And I think those teams that were able to, fight for AFC in the playoffs want to be able to do so. Teams that are fighting for a championship, they want to do so. It's not just about the money, but of a competitive standpoint. This is a year that most guys don't want to lose because you don't get that opportunity every year, especially us and other top teams. So there's enough motivational pieces in place to get everybody on the ball rolling to make sure we try to salvage the season.
Danny, playing sports my whole life, and I'm sure you feel the same. That's why I want to ask you. My heart just breaks for college seniors, for high school seniors, because I remember your brother.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I mean, man, that's tough, right? I mean, think about 2009, right? That was your senior year when you won a title.
Yeah, I was lucky and fortunate and blessed enough to be able to be on some winning teams. But yeah, my younger brother, he only had been to the tournament, I think maybe once. He hadn't been to the tournament. This was the year that he could have made the tournament and actually made some noise for himself in his senior year. Actually, put his name on the map. So not just him, but so many other people. But it sucks that his senior season had to end this way. And now he's not able to, do the things he want to do, or his route has to be a lot harder. Even those who had notoriety coming into the league, is still a weird way to end your season and then come into the NBA. So I feel for those seniors, especially him, because he's my brother and he's tied to me. He's my family. So it's just, hopefully they do something to where they can give some guys an option to get another year eligibility back. But most of those guys are probably not going to go back, and it's for his senior season to end this way. It's going to be tough for him said moving forward in his career of trying to attempt to play basketball as a profession.
Danny, obviously for Laker fans and for NBA fans, this is a big year for the Hall of Fame. Kobe Bryant, KG, and your guy, Tim Duncan. You had an awesome post on Instagram. Obviously, you knew this day was coming, but just how cool was it, when it finally became official for a guy like Timmy Duncan, who's just the ultimate professional and, of course, someone that you consider a brother?
Man, it's so cool. Obviously, he doesn't really get excited for anything, and I said that in the post. But I know this is the reason why a lot of us play this game. We want to be remembered as legendary. We want to be competitors. We want to be the best. And Timmy accomplished that goal. Not just at the best at his position, but the best to ever, play throughout this league and being a Hall of Famer. And it's just cool for me to be able to, share so many years with him on the court in battles, and to be able to play against those other two guys throughout the years. KG, and actually earn his respect and be able to, say what's up and say hello to him. He's retired now. He shows, a lot of love and respect. He's a passionate player. These are old school guys that really don't give everybody respect. And be able to play against Kobe, obviously we all know what he meant to us. And we've talked about him so much, and I would love to I definitely would love to have him as a teammate, but I never had a chance to. But be able to come to this organization and be part of the family, and him to look at me as part of the family was very special. And to see all those guys inducted, it's a special class, man. I don't think there's going to be anyone better than this class, unless Bron, D Wade, Melo, and KD, and all those guys, retiring or inducted at the same time. But I don't think there's a better, Hall of Fame class going in than this one. And I think it's pretty cool that as a kid growing up, I watched a lot of these guys play, and I idolized them, and I was able to share the court with some of them, play against them, and compete against some of them. So it was a special moment for them, I'm sure, of course, but definitely for the people around them who got a chance to, be their teammates or play against them.
So well said. And Danny, before we wrap this up, just two last questions. One that we've kind of asked everyone, in terms of how long do you think before, a team can step back on that floor? How long would be good for you guys, do you think, in terms of like mini camp or being able to feel good about getting back on the court?
I think we would need at least 2 weeks of practice just for guys to feel like they get back in shape. That would be ideal. If we got gyms and facilities open, we would get at least, a week and a half, 2 weeks of practice. And then hopefully a week of playing, at least a week of playing games, maybe 2 weeks of playing games before we get into the playoffs. I think if they want to get into playoffs, I think they need, if teams want to feel comfortable about playing, well and have a good chemistry, I think we'd have to be on the court for at least a month before playoffs started, and at least 2 weeks before we started playing any type of basketball. So that's ideal, I think, situation for us, for me anyway. But I'm sure other guys have different opinions. But we'll see what the league can pull off. I think at the end of the day, they just want to be able to get the games going as soon as possible, as fast as possible, with efficiency, without getting the players injured. And I think we all are on the same page when it comes to that. And we just want to play basketball again. I think guys will just be excited, whether it's with fans or not. I think guys will just be excited about to get back with their teams and be able to play again.
Danny, I don't care how weird it is without fans. I need it, man. We got to get it back.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
It would be weird, though.
I need fans to be very weird. Very weird. But, if we have to win a championship without fans, man, and it gives us opportunity, because we don't have how much longer we have with this group or these guys at this age.
Truth.
Playing at the level they're playing at. And if it has to be without fans, guess what? I'll take a ring without fans if I have that. If they say, oh, you want a ring or you want to have fans, I'll take the ring without fans.
All day, every day. All right, last question. I think it's the most asked question actually out there right now, but it's kind of what everyone wants to know because we're all in the same boat. What are your favorite shows to binge? Like, do you got a couple of recommendations for us? I mean, Frank Vogel gave me a couple. Everyone's been spitting them out.
Of course, man. Of course. I've been watching a lot of stuff, man. I've been watching Snowfall. I watched The Outsider. I've been watching Cold
real quick, Outsiders.
Lock and Key.
Outsiders. I've had 3 people tell me about Outsiders. Do I need to watch that?
The Outsider, it was good. It started off good, and it's a little different, science fiction, but there's so many different outlets that I've got a chance to watch and binge watch that were really good. Lock and Key is a good one if you have kids. There's too many, man. Netflix has a bunch of shows, and it's hard for me to remember.
Were you Ozark fan?
Ozark was amazing. Ozark was really good. So yeah, there's a lot of shows. Even The Boys. The Boys was a good one. It's on Amazon or Prime, and then on Hulu, there's Snowfall and a bunch of other good shows. But Man, I said there's so many shows that I went through. I can't remember them all, but there's a lot of good ones, man. And if I can get the list together for you, I would definitely send it to you.
Yeah,
And I'm
hey,
sure you'll enjoy all of them.
I would like that. We'll actually tweet you and we'll get that list because you just gave us about 6 or 7 great ones right there. But I have to ask the last thing.
Yeah.
Did you watch Tiger King?
I did watch Tiger King.
Little trip to Loonville?
Yeah, it was interesting, fun to watch, different, but entertaining. And I think everybody had a good kick out of it. So I'm sure they'll have more shows like that coming out soon.
Danny, we appreciate you, man, and keep up all the great work, and we appreciate your podcast.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.